Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 was perfect. And I don't mean that just in a game standpoint, but also as in when it was released. Before Flight Simulator 2020, the previous entry to the Flight Simulator franchise, FSX, was released in 2006. It brought many improvements from the previous version, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2004, and all in all, it was remembered as a great game with a community that kept it alive for over a decade. The year was 2020, and unfortunately, the pandemic had caused many worldwide problems, lockdowns, and many other sad and unfortunate things. It also absolutely destroyed the aviation industry because flights couldn't happen as frequently and airports had to shut down due to the concerns of the pandemic. However, in the midst of all of this, there was a game which you could download on your computer which gave you full access to the entire planet, with any aircraft you desired. You could fly anywhere you wanted, with, for at the time, never before seen graphics and photogrammetry. Either alone or with your friends, there was always some place you could visit. What Asobo managed to build using real-world satellite data and cloud-based processing was absolutely revolutionary. If we showed footage of Flight Sim 2020 to someone who would be all the way back in the FSX days, they would be rubbing their eyes, not believing that this kind of technology, on this kind of scale, could not only run on your home computer, but also on console. And while admittedly it did have its flaws during its first release, performance issues, bugs, the kind of thing any game of this scale would run into, I believe that it overcame those in a way that felt natural and not rushed. The community grew the sim that was given to them by Microsoft and Asobo and turned it into pure art. Thousands of freeware airports and high-quality aircraft, such as the fly-by-wire A32NX and the later released fly-by-wire A380, flooded the sim with a whole entire new spark of life. The incredibly detailed world that was given to us could now be shaped into a story. One of a commercial aircraft pilot flying routes from major hubs like JFK or Heathrow, or one of a bush pilot landing their cub between small airstrips in Nevada. As for me, Flight Sim 2020 was what made me fall in love with aviation in the first place. And ever since then, I've only been learning more and more about it, trying to fly realistic routes that match real airline operating procedures, and making things as close to real life as possible. There are two main reasons that have kept me back from switching to Flight Sim 2024. One of those being the offline capability. In Flight Sim 2020, temporarily losing your internet connection or the servers going down won't get you kicked from your 10-hour long-haul flight. Instead, you'll be moved to the so-called offline mode, where the satellite scenery and live weather will be unavailable, but you'll still be able to keep on flying as normal and land at your destination. This is quite important for me because I do occasionally experience internet outages, and losing a flight to that would be quite unfortunate. Also, although this is just a matter of time, Flight Sim 2020 still wins when it comes to sceneries, simply because it has thousands of them dating back all the way to 6 years ago, and unfortunately some of them aren't compatible with Flight Sim 2024. To conclude, while I think that Flight Simulator 2024 currently is the better option for most people right now, I'm going to stick to 2020 for the time being, mainly for the two reasons that I listed, the sheer library of scenery add-ons and the offline capability. I also still believe that Flight Sim 2020 has better background menu soundtrack, and that's why I featured it in this video to give it some extra light. Lastly, I just wanted to mention that I've wanted to make this video for a very long time. Flight Sim 2020 is what brought me into the aviation world in the first place, and I'm very grateful for that. So, thank you very much for sticking all the way until the end, and I hope to see you again soon.